TMCnet at NextCom 2008.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to NextCom 2008, where I'm sitting here now with Motorola's Sharif Papula, Senior Manager in the Broadband Solutions Group. Welcome, Sharif.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So one of the things that people have been talking about a lot, certainly in the last couple of days I've heard several comments, are femtocells. What's Motorola doing in the femtocell space?
Well, so femtocells themselves are small devices that give you additional cellular coverage within the home and backhaul over IP. Now, however, back to that, there's a huge solution support that goes around that. As in, how do you manage them? How do you configure them? What's the network that it talks to? How do you pull all that solution together? How do you put them into gateways, and how do you monetize those devices? And that's where Motorola comes in. We have experience both in the CPE space and the network environment and remote management, and we kind of bring a total end-to-end solution to play.
Are there any current ongoing trials with femtocells?
Currently, we have 4 in-country trials in EMEA, 1 hosted trial, and we have 2 more soon to be announced in Asia Pac.
Is this another situation where the North American market is lagging behind?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Any thoughts on why?
Well, mainly, I think it's just that they had I think the main driver for femtocells was monetizing 3G licenses. In EMEA, it was more expensive. They have more need to regain revenue from these, and hence the American operator is not as pressured as they are.
So, stepping around to the user, or the consumer side, what benefit does a femtocell bring me? Why would I be interested in one?
Better coverage in home, potentially cheaper calls, and a better user experience and higher voice quality because you have a higher data rate which you're not sharing with anybody else.
I guess cheaper calls are going to be a driver for most consumers.
And coverage, in home coverage, yes.
And in home coverage, okay. And how about the carrier side? What's the benefits of carriers?
For the carrier, they have lower capex, have to build out lower macro cells. The user maintains and bears the cost of powering up the femtocell and reduces churn.
Are there specific challenges that you're seeing in the market in terms of adoption and acceptance of the femtocell technology?
Yes. So there's 2 areas. There's consumer adoptions, consumer acceptance, and there is operator acceptance. Mm-hmm. Operators are concerned that these devices transmitting on their licensed frequencies will not disrupt their macro cells that they spent years and years building up. So that's why we're going through these trials to prove them out. How do we integrate them into their billing system, their CRM? Those are the things that these trials are proving out. Then on the user side, like, well, like you said, why should I buy this? What does it do for me? Educating the consumer on this new technology and what the benefits are to them is key to making this adoption.
Do you have any sense of what kind of a cost it would be for the user?
The cost for the user would depend on the operator. Mm-hmm. Anywhere from 0 to full price of the device.
Okay.
In Sprint's specific example, they subsidize it down to $50 per device, but it could go anywhere depending on the operator's model.
So, right, in theory, that the operator can choose to subsidize at whatever level they want.
Exactly.
And, but I imagine that's part of what will help drive adoption on the consumer side.
Exactly.
Good. What do you see on the horizon for the femtocell space?
I think deploying femtocells and having coverage in the home are just the first step. The next thing, the major thing, is what new services will this enable? What are the data type capabilities that are out there? One of the examples, we did research that said people take pictures on their mobile phones, and 90 to 95% of those pictures stay on the phone just because it's difficult to get those pictures out. Kind of services that allow users to come into the home and have pictures automatically uploaded to a pre-specified drive. That would be an interesting application. things that allow people to download new DVR content to their mobile phones. That's another thing that would be interesting. Location-based services, targeted advertising based on your zip code, because you know the location of these femtocells. It just brings a whole plethora of new services, and that's the next big thing for femtocells.
And those kind of services and applications, things that are already being worked on?
Yes. Some of them we've actually demonstrated at NCTA last month. Some of them we're demonstrating here at NXT. But yes.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing more about some of those solutions and services and applications. We've been talking about femtocells with Motorola's Sharif Papula. Sharif, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.